What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Mr. Sports. I am Zander Frost.
I'm Andrew Lind.
And we are coming at you with our NFL Super Wildcard Weekend preview. That's what they're calling it, Andrew. It's Super Wildcard Weekend.
Super Wildcard, not to be confused with soup or wildcard. Because tomorrow it was like I was going to have a really nice soup, like a lobster bisque with my girlfriend. But she said I wasn't be allowed to watch the games. And I was like, I'm making nachos. I don't give a fuck. I don't even like seafood.
You know, I just want to say, Andrew, I thought we were both going to kind of keep an illusion that we were single, like a lot of pop stars do, just so that, you know, people can desire us. And
no, I meant girlfriend in the way of like, you know, it's like me and my girlfriend, we went out, like how girls do it.
Oh, yeah. Your friend that's a girl.
My friend that's a girl, yeah.
Oh, okay. Cool. Yeah, and she lives with you, right?
Yeah, I guess it's sort of a roommate. No, she doesn't live with me, but we eat a lot of meals together.
Yeah.
We've been known to share a bed.
But you're just friends.
Yeah, it's just kind of like a 2021. You know, 2021. It's all about free love now.
That's
most relationships are over. I mean, who do you know that's in a relationship when COVID started that's still in one?
None. And it was all bad breakups. It was 100% bad breakups.
Nothing amicable. It's kind of like how Amazon has sped up, like destroying every small business you love. COVID was also destroyed any long-term relationship. Maybe, because that's the conspiracy, right? Is that Bezos created COVID to like speed that up. But it might have just been like a bunch of people in dead-end relationships.
You think that they started COVID to sort of speed up the acceleration of their personal declines with their interpersonal relationships.
Yeah, to break themselves free. I mean, everything's about image now and like how the breakup happens, what's said about you post-breakup, and with regards to like being back out on the market. So all of a sudden, if you're getting trashed, you know, in a normal day, it's hard to get another significant other.
I read a report that COVID was actually created in a lame Airbnb for a bad 3-day weekend. That was disappointing. Did you read that? That it was in Big Bear. It was sort of a lame couples Airbnb, and some guy just designed it there.
That was the China. Big Bear. That was that same Airbnb that Chris Dorner holed himself up in, right? I remember reading about that.
Sort of a historic Airbnb. A lot of
that couple was like, we gotta go. Like, this is so romantic. We love like cop killing, you know. Depending on what side you're on, I don't know.
Pretty wild that Airbnb is such a huge company, and that is like a foundational part of their income. Is that Chris Dorner Airbnb in Big Bear?
Yeah, but every company sort of has their tent poles. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
VRBO, they have like the Manson. I don't know what they have.
You can rent OJ's Bronco, maybe.
Yeah. Live in it.
Wait, isn't VRBO? I thought VRBO was car rentals. Now it's everything, right?
I don't know if they were car rentals. I've only used them. I think they're more like vacation based, like where Airbnb is just anywhere you're at. VRBO is like I went to Tulum and rented a villa.
Hopefully not recently, because you're going to get some shade online.
No. This was like 2 weeks ago.
Oh.
So it was good. Everybody got tested.
Okay. It was, with those quick tests, right? Instant tests. So you guys were really aware if you had it or not.
If we had gonorrhea and everything. Everybody got tested. Everybody knew. We got to Tulum.
Good.
And it was fuck city, baby.
That's right.
Right on the sunset.
Yeah. That's really good. I like that. A lot of people have been going to Tulum, and at first I was worried, but then they all assured me that they had been tested for gonorrhea, and I was like, okay, cool. Go. You know,
well, who am I? You know, here's the thing about STDs, and nobody wants to talk about it, but pretty much everything you can get is going to be curable, right? So if you wear a condom, except for like HIV and herpes, but herpes, you can get that on skin to skin anyway. It doesn't matter if you wear a condom. So really the only thing you need to worry about is HIV.
A kid in my middle school told me that everybody gets herpes.
Yeah, we all have it, kind of, I guess.
Yeah, I remember when I was a kid, he was like, "Don't worry." He told me, he's like, everybody gets a simplex.
Let's just do it, bro. Don't worry about it.
All right. Well, Andrew, we're not here to talk about partying. we are here to talk about NFL Super Wild Card Weekend. So let's just kick it off. Let's get right into it. So Saturday, first game of the weekend. It's a big one. It's the Indianapolis Colts at the 2 seed Buffalo Bills. The line for this, according to Williams Hill Sportsbook, is Buffalo Bills minus 6.5. Now, a little background really quick. Stephon Diggs is questionable. We were just talking. He's had limited availability in practice yesterday. It seems like he's going to play. Cole Beasley's questionable. It seems like they're both still going to play, but, you know, a little worrisome, obviously, for the Bills. So Colts, it'll be Colts plus 6.5, Bills minus 6.5. What do you think?
I feel like, well, I don't love those injuries. I would bet they play just because it's the playoffs, but it's not good that Diggs was limited Tuesday and then he was not practicing Wednesday. It's like he's declining. It's not like he didn't practice Tuesday, then he got in a limited session. Like, if you're trending downward, I don't love that. But because it is the playoffs and you're like the best player on the team, you have to be so fucked up to not play. They'll shoot him up with something.
Yeah.
I guess it's a testament. In my head, I'm like, at the end of the day, though, Josh Allen is balling so hard. He kind of feels like he's receiver proof right now.
Honestly, the whole team is balling. I mean,
yeah,
that Allen threw 3 TDs in that Miami game, pulled them out, and then they kept going. Like,
and who was it to? Isaiah McKenzie?
Isaiah McKenzie had two in the first quarter alone, I think, or first half.
Yeah, I think he had a punt return.
He had a punt return for a touchdown and 2 receptions for a touchdown. And that dude's like good, but he's not like, you know, Diggs. There's a lot of other guys you would think of in that offense, obviously.
And John Brown is not hurt, right?
He's back. He's back now.
Ironically, now it's like John Brown is there healthy.
I know. It's like I love in the NFL when you have a guy that's missed like 6 weeks and then all of a sudden comes back. It's like it was like one of this in week 16. Kittle, the Niners were like, Kittle's actually our healthiest player.
That was frustrating though, because he played like every 9th play.
I know.
Every time he came in the game, they threw it to him, and it was complete, but it was so bizarre.
He balled because I started him in week 16, right?
16, yeah, week 16.
I started him in week 16, and he balled out every time he was in. It was like, just let him play. You know, risk your future. Just let Kittle play.
Yeah, fuck it, dude. When it was the same play, they would just run like a play action. It would be like a bootleg, and then was it Beathard and Kittle be running the same? And you just chuck it to Kittle, and he would take off.
That was a weird game where Beathard, like, sometimes he would just like hit the ball, would just like go like 3 feet short and hit the bounce in front of him. Like, that was a bizarre game that I had a lot of fantasy. There was a heavy fantasy value on that game for me.
Yeah, as much as players shit on fantasy, which I get because people are so awful on the internet, it is horrible. Like, in what fucking world would you watch that game if you didn't start Kittle? Like, it was just a terrible game.
Yeah. Well, anyways, let's get back to the Bills. So obviously it's basically, you know, if the Bills win by a touchdown, 7 points, then you know, you get the Bills. So I'm gonna say I'm taking the Bills because I still think. Look, not obviously, kind of knock on wood, I'm a little biased, but like, I think if you think the Bills are going to win, you probably think the Bills are going to win by a touchdown, right? You probably think it's going to be by 7 points.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like is Indy. Excuse me. Oh, I'm terribly sorry.
Thank you.
Indianapolis must be like the best. Like, that sucks to be the 2 seed and have to play Indianapolis. Like, that's a pretty good team.
I know.
I think of all the wild card teams, I'd want to play them the least. I think I'm actually going to take the Colts. Like, I think the Bills will win, but I feel like it'll be close.
I mean, I'm going to have to come back to LA right now and beat your ass. But I mean, I get that. I get that just because, but the thing with the Colts is that, like, if you watch that Steelers game, they looked really good up top. And then the back half, just total collapse, right? Like, the second half was Phillip Rivers made mistakes and they weren't going to Jonathan Taylor enough. And
they have this weird, I don't know why they hate Jonathan Taylor. It's like, even when they unleashed him, They
But they just have
keep
a lot of
they
guys because they'll switch it up with Hines. Like they have a lot. When I was watching them, I was like, I don't really know what to expect. I don't know who's gonna get the ball. They have it's like I talked to you about before. It's like they got a bunch of tight ends. You never Jack Doyle and all these guys.
Mo,
You don't
Big
really
Mo.
know who's gonna be the person on the Colts on a
Yeah,
given
I feel
night.
like if anything, their weak link is Phil Rivers. He's just like not it anymore, and it's always like, what's this guy gonna do? He'll just throw a interception right to the other team. I have no confidence if he's like driving with the game on the line.
Well, I'll say like if you're taking if you're taking the Colts, I'll take the Bills. I'm cool with that. That'll be a fun little. Obviously, if the Colts win, I'll be so depressed. But I think
It will
like
not be fun too, because it's like we all want to see Chiefs Bills, and like
everybody
with the
wants to see
fucking
that.
Colts, they're not. I don't feel like they're not even fun. Like the Titans last year was like fun. It was like King Henry,
Yeah, it was sick. The
Tannehill. Yeah,
Tannehill and even this year the Titans have now they got like AJ Brown, Corey Davis going. Like the Titans are fun. Nobody wants to see the Colts beat the Bills. Everybody, the whole world is rooting for the Bills.
yeah, and like you got to like the Chiefs playing the Colts. That's going to be a fucking demolishing.
I
It's like 52-17.
All right. So Are you locking in your pick?
Look, I'm locking in Colts plus 6.5, but I won't be shocked. But I do not think the Colts are going to win. I just feel like
It'll be
it'll be
like a field goal.
close enough. They'll get a late touchdown.
All right. So Andrew's taking the Colts. I'm taking the Bills. Minus 6.5. Let's keep it moving.
I already
And
feel like shit about that pick, by the way, but
I
fake it till you make it.
I hope we win by 21 points. Also, this is a biased podcast.
Also, isn't usually the first game kind of like their worst? It's like that opens up the
I
wild
thought
card
isn't it usually
weekend.
the middle? I thought it was a middle game. But it's
But
also
then it's
this
usually Saturday night. I mean, I just feel like this is a good game to be. It can't be like their first throwaway game. I feel like Bears Saints is the worst game. That's like I'm gonna watch probably, but I'm not like
I'll
hyped
say
for that.
this with the Bears Saints, don't you also and we'll talk about it, but don't you also not know who's going to win that weirdly?
Yeah, well, I guess we literally will talk about
Yeah,
it.
well,
I
let's
guess
talk
it's a
about
good
it.
game in that sense. Is that the next game?
No, next up, no, you skipped to Sunday, baby. Next up, we got Rams Seahawks. The line is Seahawks minus 3.5. The line moved since we last checked. So Seahawks minus
Oh wow,
3.5. Rams at Seahawks. What do you think?
it's interesting. It moved. People are on the Rams a little bit. I just don't. I don't really love either of these teams, but I feel like at least you got Russell Wilson. Like I'm not going to bet on
Yeah.
Wolford.
I mean, I guess you're like
You're banking on Rams D, right? Like
you're banking
just
on Rams D, and you're banking on that offensive system.
yeah, it's like Rams D. They have a good system. Seattle defense is not that good. I think Adams might be injured. He might not play.
Goff still Goff still might play too.
You kind of got to hope he doesn't, right? Especially if he's like not practicing.
I mean, it's like it's one of those things where you're like, oh man, Goff might not play, and you're like, does that really change my pick? Like,
Yeah,
no.
it's like there's less. You almost like with Goff, it's like probably not going to be that good. But Wolford, you're like that could be really fucking bad, or that could be like he could surprise you. He's
Hey,
way more unknown.
let's be honest. We know nothing about how John Wolford's going to play in the playoffs, right? We
I
have
couldn't tell you
no
one thing he
idea.
does.
We have
He could
no
be like
idea.
he could be looking at me right now through the window, like waving with like his jersey on, and I would be like, "Who's this weird guy who dresses up like a football player?"
John Wolford, I couldn't recognize John Wolford. I know very little about John Wolford. Do you know what college he played for?
I'm gonna go with the Baylor Bears.
It's in my opinion, sort of the Baylor of the ACC, Wake Forest.
Wake Forest. I can see that now that you say it, and now that I'm picturing some. I'm just picturing like a created player on Madden,
Yeah,
just
like
the base guy.
like your first year, your second season of your franchise, like that's the guy
Hmm.
you draft. John Wolford is the guy you draft with like the 31st pick of the first round in the second season of your franchise, where you like had a mediocre quarterback, but you kind of BS'd your way to a championship. You know, you can cheat your way to
Yeah.
a championship your first
Madden is
season.
frustrating because I'll trade good players. I'll be like, I'm gonna get a top pick, and then you pick like third overall, and they're like a 72, even
It,
if they're like a stud.
I know. Don't,
Like,
yeah,
like what? Am I gonna see them through for like 4 seasons? Like this
yeah.
was fucking dumb.
I'm gonna spend real life like 30 hours to turn him into Patrick Mahomes. You know, it's like
And you do.
I mean, the funny thing is, it's like honestly, you should like go in your backyard and throw a football for 30 hours, and like you could probably become pretty good at throwing a foot. You know, you could like actually pick up a skill in that in the amount of time it takes you to turn
Yeah.
your created player into like a capable creative player. You could learn a
Oh,
skill. You
dude,
could
the
be.
legacies I've created on Madden are unheard of.
Oh man. All right.
And you know what happened? Well, real quick, because I
Yeah.
know people want to know about this. Multiple times, like I did a season with the Panthers, and I gave DJ Moore. I mean, DJ Moore was like Randy Moss times two. He had like 2,300 receiving yards, 30 touchdowns. He like
Yeah.
broke every record. And the next season, I'm told like you focused a little bit too much on DJ Moore, and you need to kind of spread the ball. And I was like, "What are you talking?" Well, I'm like breaking. That's your feedback. Not
Listen,
like,
man,
wow, truly the most amazing receiving season in the history of the NFL.
I think those other receivers have real sway with with the Madden algorithm. Robbie Anderson has some real sway with he went and he talked to the algorithm. He was like, "Come on."
He was pissed. He kept having
Come
these,
on.
player meetings like, "Hey, coach, I really feel like I need to be involved." And I was like, I'm finding you for like 4 for 72, but then DJ has like 10 for 235 and 4
That's
touchdowns.
it's like, why am I playing a game where I have to manage egos?
Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
I think kids nowadays are like, people don't play like us growing up. That's all you could really do. Start a franchise, play the computer. Now people just play online and they do like head to head or that thing with the cards where you have like a random like super team. It's just,
hey
living in the
Andrew,
past.
but we got to talk about the now. So
You're right.
Seahawks -3.5. What do you think?
I'll go Seahawks because I can't in any world
I
bet
know.
on Wolford over
I know.
Wilson.
I mean, Wilson, Metcalf. I'm taking the Seahawks. I kind of don't. I mean, I understand that the Seahawks have been a little spotty at times, but I have to take. It's not. I have to take them. Like I guess they might lose, but you have to, between these two teams, only getting. The Rams are only getting. Just over a field goal. It's like.
And this is at Seattle, right?
Yeah.
So they're basically saying this is like even. I mean, I guess it's a little different without fans, but
Yeah, I feel like you can't really do that this year because the lack of fans kind of, especially in Seattle,
yeah, it just feels like the Seahawks are all of a sudden so undervalued. Like I don't get why they're.
Yeah.
You'll live with that. You'll live with losing to Wolford.
If Wolford and the Rams, or even Goff and the Rams beat me on that bet, I'm fine. I'm like, well,
Yeah, versus like watching Russell Wilson just like chucking it to DK for like
you just
3
feel like
touchdowns.
an idiot. You're like,
Yeah,
why
and
did
you're
I
like,
do
what the
this?
fuck?
Why did I do this? Like, why did I? And then like watching check down passes for 3 quarters and then a bomb for an interception in the fourth. It's like I don't need to. All right, so we're both taking the Seahawks, right? Lock it in. All right, cool. Next up, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This is the night game. Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Washington Football Team. The line is Washington Football Team +8. Or sorry, no, it's changed. +8.5. +8.5.
+8.5. And I think it opened higher though. I think it opened at like 9.5.
Oh, did it? According to this, it opened at 8. But that's yeah.
Well, there you go. I don't know. I think Mike Evans isn't going to play. Actually,
Evans is hurt.
Am I hearing that?
I don't know if that's I know that that Alex Smith, Evans is a game time decision.
Okay.
And I know that
Alex Smith, I know he had a leg injury. I think last year, did he injure his leg, or maybe it was 2 years ago? I don't know if you heard about this.
Alex Smith, the quarterback?
Yeah, the dude he used to be on the Niners, and then he went to the
No,
Chiefs.
I haven't heard about that at all.
Oh,
I've watched those games, and they've never talked about that in any of those Washington football team games that I've watched, and I've watched them all
you've watched every single one, right? It's kind of your team
religiously.
this year.
That's
Yeah.
been that's been finally I can root I've been itching to root for them, and now that they have Washington football team as the name, I'm all in, baby.
You're unleashed. Well, my bad. I probably misspoke. I think I'm thinking of someone else.
You know who I think you're thinking of? Barry Sanders.
Ooh, you're right. Fuck.
Um,
Great.
so in terms of the never injured Alex Smith and the Washington football team, so Smith is questionable, McLaurin is questionable. From what I was reading, it looks like they're probably going to start. They're going to probably start Smith, but I was listening. I think I was listening to like Mike Flory. They were talking about they might do like a quarterback by committee potentially.
Are you serious?
That's what he was saying. I don't know if that was just speculation or not, but like it, because they apparently he can barely move. That's what reporters are saying.
Jesus, then just put Heineke in. I mean, how bad is he? It's like, come
That's
on,
what they were.
dude.
That's what they were arguing was that. Shout out to Pro Football Talk, but they were talking about that they should just start
Friend of the
Heineke.
pod.
Friend of the pod, Mike Florio. He's always calling us, asking for our takes. But that basically, they're talking about they're teasing potentially doing a quarterback rotation. Ron on Tuesday,
Maybe that's
Washington
just a fuck over like Tampa Bay. They're like, what do we prepare for?
On Tuesday, Washington football team coach Ron Rivera announced that he is considering rotating quarterbacks Alex Smith and Taylor Heineke during his team's wild card playoff game against Tampa Bay.
Well, that's insane. I don't feel good about the football team, but I do think I think it was like 2-0 or something. I heard like these underdog
Divisional winners.
Yeah.
You remember when who did the Seahawks upset when they were 7-9? Was it the Saints? Yeah, They upset the Saints. Honestly, getting 8.5, I'll take the football team. I mean, what if it's just a touchdown? Like they have a good defense.
Yeah, they do have a really good defense, and they get to the quarterback. I think they were second in the league in sacks.
I think I'll take. I just think it's a fun. It's Ron Rivera. It's Riverboat Ron. It's a fun story. I will take the football team plus 8.5 just as a flyer. I'm not confident in it, but if Evans is out, the Buccaneers we've gone through it before.
They got AB. Maybe AB steps up.
I mean, that would be sick. But the Buccaneers they have soft wins. They had a weak. Go through their schedule. Most of those wins are bad teams, bad teams.
But I would argue Washington, bad team.
Yeah, they are bad. They're not great, but I'm just saying it's like, for sure the Buccaneers are, if they weren't a team with Tom Brady and with all of the, hype around them.
Weapons.
And yeah, Mike. If they
didn't have a great quarterback, like a great.
Well, no, okay. Well, my point is, if they didn't have good players and were really good, then they wouldn't be good. My point is just like if they were the Colts, I think the line would be lower. If literally everything was, if it was just like their whole resume, everything they'd done, everything was just the Colts with different names, I think that the line would be lower.
I just worry because Washington barely beat Philly, and they were like actively trying to lose. I think I don't know if they were actively trying to lose. But
they weren't. They weren't actively trying to lose until they pulled out Jalen Hurts, which is why all the Eagles players were so pissed.
Yeah, but like a bunch of their defensive players were not playing, and they could only muster up 17. And you're gonna have like a Tampa Bay defense who's like trying to make shit happen. Yeah, I think they'll just make big plays on defense. I think it's probably not going to be close.
So you're taking
Tampa Bay,
and I'm going Washington football team. Yeah, that's one that it's totally possible. In the third quarter, the Buccaneers are up by 4 touchdowns, and I'm like,
I feel like that's more likely. Although I definitely see the route where it's just low scoring, and football team's defense is just like making Brady crazy. He's firing off weird, inaccurate passes.
Let's keep moving. So now we're going to kick off Sunday. the Ravens at the Titans. The line is Titans plus 3.5.
Yeah, this is a weird one to me because I don't understand why the Ravens are like favored, even though they've been winning games. It's all bad
I
teams
agree.
they've played. Granted, they beat
No,
them
the
pretty
Browns.
badly,
They beat the Browns.
and the Browns, and that was close. But I think that was what? That was like 3 points.
That was
so they
that.
played a good team.
That game was insane. Obviously, that was Lamar Jackson. He came out with poop all over himself, and he still threw that touchdown.
Yeah, got to hand it to him.
Gotta hand it to him. Gotta wipe it to him.
Yeah, you thought he might slip if he had a little bit, leak down a little bit too far, but
really. So yeah, they won that game by 5 points. They beat.
Oh, they won by 5. Okay.
Here's down the stretch. They blew out Cincinnati. They blew out the Giants. They blew out the Jags. They beat the Browns. They blew out the Cowboys. They lost to Pittsburgh. They lost to Tennessee in OT. They lost to New England. They beat Indianapolis. They lost to Pittsburgh. Like, okay, obviously Baltimore's like they're a good team, but so are the Titans. And I think the Titans, I feel like the vibe on the Titans really changed when they got obliterated in the snow by the Packers.
Yeah, that made you go, well, it's just weird to think a team is good, but then they can also get destroyed. Although, granted, the Packers got destroyed by the Bucks, so maybe nothing makes sense.
Well,
but the thing about the Titans, well, what?
No, go ahead. Think about the Titans. Go ahead.
Their downfall is they can't defend a pass like at all. They're fucking horrible against pass. But the Ravens can't really pass. Like, they're a running team, so they don't line up. Like the next team they play, if they play like the Chiefs, the Chiefs are going to put 60 points up on them. But
that's the other thing, that like they're horrible against the pass. The Packers came out. And obviously one of the best passing teams in the league, right? That's how they move the ball. And they came out, they scored. The Packers obliterated the Titans' edge in that game and then just never let up, right? Because it was like they had a couple of those nice touchdowns early. Then it kind of takes away the run, right? Which is what opens everything up for the Titans. Is Derrick Henry just smashed it. But then you're down I think they're down the Packers put up 17 really quick in that game. So now you can't run the ball as much, which means you can't throw the ball to AJ Brown and Corey Davis because they know you're not going to run it. Derrick Henry was totally neutralized in that game. Packers and then after that, the Packers don't have to throw it as much. So now they're just pounding. Now Dylan and so I think like that game was a little bit of an aberration in terms of the Titans are still, I think, a good team. I think they're a really good team. And
well, they're good, but if they play a team with a great passing offense like the Bills or the Chiefs or maybe even the Steelers,
but that's not what like we said, that's not what they're dealing with right now. So
yeah,
and if they were playing the Packers, I'd be like, ooh, I don't want to touch this. But also even so, it was like the snow and Tannehill. Let's be honest, he spent a lot of time in Miami. Tannehill, right? Like this guy's not ready for that. He's not ready for this snow work. So I'm gonna say getting 3.5 for the Titans at home. I think it's kind of a no-brainer.
I know it feels weird. It's like, are we dumb? Like, I feel like it should be Texans by 3, if anything. It's just
Texans, really? You think the Texans should be in this game?
Yeah, I think if you look back on the season, the Texans should have won at least 12, maybe 13 games.
Mm-hmm. That's why Deshaun
Watson
whole thing. Wants out.
It's the thing we're saying about the Bucks. They just didn't have good players or coaching or like hype.
Yeah. Or like management. If the whole franchise was totally different, then they would be there.
This is Texans Ravens, and although I guess they did play last year, and was that the game that the Texans beat the Ravens last year?
The Texans, the Titans beat the Ravens.
I thought the Texans the Texans were up against the Chiefs like 24-0 and then ended up losing like 49-24 or something.
Last year the Texans lost to the Colts. Right? Was that last year?
No. Remember they were they were up 24-0 on the Chiefs, and everyone was like, "Holy shit!" And then the Chiefs immediately were just like, "Oh, all right."
Was that last year?
Yeah, that was last year. And the Titans beat the Ravens because everybody
Oh
thought
my
it was going to be
gosh, yeah.
Ravens Chiefs.
Sorry, I'm an idiot. They beat the Bills. They beat the Bills in the first round.
The
In
Texans
OT.
did.
Yeah. They beat the Bills in the first round at OT. And then, gosh, we got to cut this segment because I was like, in my head, I was like, because I was in Mexico and I was watching it on like a pixelated, I was in a hostel watching it in like on like a little tiny screen with like choppy internet. Well, there was
El
like
Chapo
a party.
internet?
El Chapo internet. Well, there's like a party upstairs in the hostel, and I was like, and there were like people coming in because it was like there was like six beds in this room, and people were coming in. They were like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm watching I'm watching the Buffalo Bills." And then I like missed the party, and then they lost. It was just very. It was a very depressing, and it was this hostel was sick, and it was two beers for $1 during happy hour, like 2 Coronas for $1 during happy hour, and like the Bills game ended, and I missed the happy hour too, so I had to go up and spend $3 on a Corona.
That's kind of the worst too. Well, with sports where you're like, when it's a negative impact or negative outcome, and you're like, wow, I missed this party to watch this game that would have happened whether or not I watched it. I feel like, well, you were actually attached to the Bills, especially if you bet on something or you just have a fantasy player and you're like, they're going to score what they scored. I don't have to watch
You don't
this.
have to watch
I could have
it.
enjoyed the time with my friends.
It's an addiction, bro. Hey,
Yeah, it's fucked up.
Hey, if you feel like you can't control your gambling,
1-800
Gamblers Anonymous.
CALLATT, I think. I've been calling them.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
So anyway, okay, yeah, last year, my bad. Last year was obviously they ended up blowing it against the Chiefs. You know, how much do you think they ended up losing by in that game? Do you remember?
To the Chiefs?
Yeah.
I think it was like 49-24 or something.
51-31. They ended up losing
51-31. So I had the spread right. No, I didn't. 1 point.
That's insane.
Cut that out too.
I can't believe honestly that playoffs had between that and the Ravens getting obliterated, like that was those playoffs were pretty wild last year.
That was a good playoff. I was working.
Great.
I remember I think I was just checking my phone.
Yeah, because we got to stay on that grind. All right, enough. Let's make our picks. So again, the line here is.
I think we're both going Titans, right?
We're both going
plus
Titans plus 3.5. Yeah, we're both going Titans plus 3.5. I think it's a
no-brainer.
no-brainer.
Wrong, Ravens.
Yeah, they might, but that's a no-brainer to me. Okay, next up we got the Bears at the Saints. Saints minus 10. Saints minus 10. This is what I'm saying. That's kind of a crazy line for a playoff game.
Dude, there's a lot of just like teams at the top. Well, not to put the Bills in that, where it's like they're favored by a lot, but you're like, do I really feel good about this team winning by double digits? But then it's like the Bears. So, I mean, I would just probably not bet this.
I feel like the hard part about this is that if you bet the Bears, you can totally see yourself watching Trubisky embarrass himself and your bet being totally wasted. Like which is obviously why the line is what it is. But
and if you're a Bears fan, I don't like, what do you want to have happen? Because if the nightmare scenario is like he just plays kind of good, but you lose, and then it's like, well, we got to bring him back. You kind of either want him to like step up and have this great performance and be like, okay, or just get destroyed so you can be like, all right, enough.
If he does, imagine if he does really well.
Well, if he does really well, I mean,
if he does really well and they lose,
won a playoff yeah,
then you still probably have to lock him up.
Yeah. Oh, that just sucks. Maybe you can trade him. Trade him for Watson.
Yeah. Yeah. Straight up 1-for-1 for Watson. I think I feel like it's kind of a trap. Well, they got some pieces on the Bears. Trubisky doesn't look horrible. I watched their game last week. He didn't look horrible.
No, he's been playing some bad defenses though. It's kind of like the Ravens. It's like
Yeah. Well,
they
I
look
will
good.
say okay, if you watch the Saints, and I think the cat kind of came out of the bag with that Kamara week. Like they are a rushing team. They are a rush the ball defensive team. Although they're going to have Michael Thomas back, so maybe that's a little different. But
Yeah, but he's been like really whatever all year, even when he was back.
this is honestly one of the hardest picks for me because I think picking the Bears would be fun. And obviously, like, if the Bears are up late, you're going to win. Yeah. Yeah. But at the same time, it's not like there's no way they're getting complacent after what's happened the past couple seasons. What an insane season. Like, there's so many crazy factors for this game. Um,
Yeah,
you know,
and two great defense. These are two good defenses.
yeah.
I'm going to take Chicago just because the
Yeah.
defenses are good enough that you're like, I could see it being low scoring, and if it's low scoring enough to win by double digits is going to be tough.
I I'll take the Saints. I already took the Washington football team as my like fun uh my fun one. So
Yeah,
I'll take the Saints and you take the Bears, lock it in?
yeah. Damn, we really have some different picks
Yeah, this is
going on.
fun. All right, let's keep it moving here. All right. Next up we've got
Oh, but yeah, that's the worst game. That's a Nickelodeon game too, right? So a bunch of
yeah, that's the
kids are gonna
slime
have to
game.
watch that
That's the
shit.
slime
Yeah.
game, dude. That's the
hmm
game where it's like I think it's actually kids can place slime on the field to kind of mess with the players. Like they're
Whatever they
actually
want.
going to
That's
change it.
fun.
Yeah. So like kids at home on their iPad can like it's like you can press anywhere you want and then it's like a voting thing. So like if everybody presses one spot,
Oh
if like
wow.
100,000 kids press one spot, then like there's going to be like a slime geyser like during a play.
I think what would be fun too. I heard that they're gonna make like the center like fart and stuff, so it'll
Yeah.
be like Breeze in the huddle calling a play, and then it's like, brrr.
And I think that the
That's
whole
funny.
they're going to have to, they can't use their typical cadence. It has to be like poop jokes and stuff. So it has to be like fart 42. Like they
Oh,
have
like
to,
calling the plays. Oh,
yeah,
okay,
butthole.
that's fun. Butthole's a little bit. Yeah, I mean that's risk. That's kind
Yeah,
of a
that's right on
adult
the edge.
humor. Yeah, that's edge. But
That's right on the
Nickelodeon is a
edge.
little edgy.
Stinky.
Diarrhea.
Yeah, that
But
it's
ever since Jamie Lynn got pregnant, Nick has been a little bit more.
she really she's the Kanye of Nickelodeon. She changed the game.
Yeah, and she's back, right?
She is back. She is back. Thank God, because I, as you know, have been a huge fan of Jamie Lynn Spears.
Dude, you missed her so much.
I missed her so much. I was worried about Zoe.
Dude, yeah, you wanted the 411 on Zoe 101.
I like that. I like that just adding a number and now it's sort of millennial. That's sort of what they did. They were like, okay, what if we just made a show with like a Zoe 101 and then
Mm-hmm.
we like that now. It's like iCarly. We just put the letter I in front of a show and now like
It's a
kids
digital,
like it.
digital age, yeah.
Um
I
here's
don't
a
think I was like, I can't name one other. I don't know. It's like
I will give
Drake
you
and Josh,
I will
Drake and Josh with an amp, like weird, funny symbols.
I will give you $100 if you can tell me the name of Jamie Lynn and Britney Spears' brother right now in one guess. I'll give you $100.
Oh fuck, Jamie Lynn and Britney Spears' brother.
Yeah.
Jamie Lynn, Britney. I want to say Robert. I don't know why.
Ooh, Brian Spears. I'm sorry.
Damn, Brian.
Spears.
Ugh.
Ouch. Ouch. Okay, check this out. Jamie Lynn Spears' husband.
Also named Brian?
No, also named Jamie.
What? Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, a lot of fun little Spears facts, which is a spin-off podcast we're going to do. Spears facts. All right.
Yeah, Spears 101. That's our premium
Last
content.
game of the week. Obviously, one with a lot of hubbub going on around it. It's the Steelers and the Browns. It's the Steelers at the Cleveland Browns. The line is Steelers -6. Wait, they're not at the Browns, are they?
No. They're at Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Why is it? That's the CBS. Yeah, Browns at Steelers. Browns at Steelers.
Just more fake news from the lamestream media.
That's right. You're damn right. So yeah, that's Browns at that's so crazy. They have all the other ones oriented right. But so yeah, Browns at Steelers. The line is Steelers -6.
I guess that went up because of this COVID stuff, right?
I would guess, yeah. I would guess.
I mean, this is scary. It's weird. It's like we got through the whole season. I honestly didn't really think about the fact that, you can't really reschedule. I don't know what you do. Also, the Steelers have been so cursed. It's like half the time a team has an outbreak, they're playing the Steelers.
I know that whole Ravens sequence that honestly I felt like screwed up the Steelers' whole season. Like when they were kind of like complaining about that because remember the Ravens game got moved multiple times. And then the Browns, on the other hand, the Broncos, on the other hand, they were just like, yo, play with no quarterback. Like, that was absurd. That was not fair to the Steelers.
Yeah, that was funny, too, because then the Steelers started getting COVID, and it was weird because they were like, oh, now we can't play this game. And then they started getting COVID, and then it was like, well, still, but if we had played Thursday, which I'm like, yeah, I guess so.
You gotta, okay. So obviously,
it's a little tough with it's just this crazy contagious virus. I mean, maybe these guys are being irresponsible, but when you're just like shitting on a team for getting COVID, it's like, well, I don't fucking know, man. I mean, what do you want me to do? It's like this epidemic.
I'll say this: the Browns have not been practicing because of COVID. Obviously, they had their whole wide receiver core got missed that game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's be honest. You have to take the Steelers. Like, you have to take the Steelers, even -6. Like,
it wasn't even like that looking, even like healthy. It wasn't looking great for the Browns against the Steelers.
And the head coach, like,
he has COVID.
He has COVID. I just think,
but also, everyone's counting them out. Maybe they'll be like, "Fuck it,
true.
We're all we got."
It's
the
true.
Steelers have been very weird lately. It's not like
it's true, but dude, they play badly against the Jets, like because of with all the people, like, and obviously we hear if you've just followed the last 3 games of the season, you like the Jets.
One of the best teams in the NFL.
One of the best teams in the NFL. Great coaching. Darnold. Even Crowder can throw touchdowns. But I just think I like the Browns. I'm really sad for the Browns.
I want them to win.
But I totally am rooting for them. But just if you had to pick, I think if you had to pick one of these teams, it has to be the Steelers. Especially because the Steelers, they picked it up a little bit, and I do think there's a lot of hate for them. And when in reality, if they go up against a team that has all this chaos, can't even practice. Like I'm more concerned about
not the game, not the
practice?
game that they die for. Yeah.
I mean, I just think like I'm less concerned about players missing the game and more concerned about whatever their rhythm is being screwed up.
Yeah. I mean, I don't see the only route is they could just run it all over
which they will. It'll be Chubb and Hunt. It'll be Chubb and Hunt. But what if Roethlisberger, if Juju or Claypool, if they get a couple of TDs or Deontay, like if they get a couple of TDs early,
Juju, they have so many weapons.
Dude, that's insane. The crazy thing about that team is I'm like, is that the best receiving core in the NFL? Like, it's one of them.
Oh, yeah. I don't know who would be over them. I guess they don't have a true, like, solid one. But who would you rather have?
I mean, I guess maybe the Bills obviously Adams is is fun. Like, the whole Packers.
Yeah, but that's Adams and that's like the
Yeah,
one
but I mean that's
better.
Adams. Adams and isn't Adams the best receiver in the NFL, right? Adams and Diggs and who else?
Hopkins.
Hopkins. Dude, Hopkins
DJ
is
Moore,
insane.
and-
Hopkins is completely insane.
Yeah, he's unreal.
How much worse are they? If Kyler Murray doesn't have Hopkins, Kingsbury is totally done already. Like, no question.
Yeah, I kind of feel bad for. I mean, Kyler Murray's all right, but it's funny going from Watson to like Murray, where it's like Watson can still move like Murray, but he can also chuck it like
Yeah. I
really
mean,
fucking well.
I'm just saying, like, a lot of the, like, Murray's the guy. A lot of that in his second season. Obviously, Kyler looked good in his first season, or his first couple seasons too, but, like, a lot of the, because you know how this year it was like, he's made it. He's, like, that was part of
I think it's like, is this his second year?
No,
I
this
think
is,
it's his second year.
oh, yeah, it is. Yeah. Wait, hold on here. Let me, God,
I
here's
would
the
say maybe the
yeah, this is his second
Titans
season.
receiving core over the. I don't even know though,
But-
man. I think it takes Steelers.
But anyway, my point is, like, this year it felt like people were like, Kyler Murray's the guy. They got their guy, right? Like, that's definitely been the narrative. And how much of that is Hopkins? Like, even that Hail Mary against the Bills.
Yeah, that was a great play. I don't know about Murray. Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right.
Kirk,
Anyway.
they got Fitzgerald. It's a decent receiving core.
Yeah, but Fitzgerald, I mean, it's tough because sometimes some plays they won't let him have his walker out there. And so he's really moves, he kind of lumbers.
Yeah, but he
around.
hit that guy with it at one time, and it felt like, I mean, he's a good guy and everything.
But, all right. So let's make our picks. I'm taking the Steelers -6.
Nice little rhyme. I like that.
Let's make our picks. Steelers -6.
Never mind. No, I'll take Steelers too, but I'm not happy.
No, I know.
That's different though. I'm just not happy.
Oh yeah, personally, emotionally. All right, so let's run through these. So Colts, Bills lines. Bills -6.5. I'm taking the Buffalo Bills, and you're taking
Indianapolis Colts.
Rams at Seahawks. The line is Seahawks -3.5. We're both taking the Seattle Seahawks. Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Washington Football Team. The line is football team +8.5. I'm taking the Washington Football Team.
I'm taking Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay. Baltimore Ravens.
Tampa Brady.
Tampa Brady.
I love you, Jenny.
That's
we
good.
went and watched the Tampa Bay Buccaneers play football.
This is good. That's our next sketch.
Yeah.
Ravens at Titans. The line is Titans +3.5. We're both taking the Titans, correct?
Yeah.
Bears at Saints. Saints -10. I'm taking the Saints.
I blanked. Who they playing? The Bears. I'm taking the Bears.
You're taking the Bears.
Ugh, I got a couple games.
Yeah,
that are just like,
Andrew. Yeah,
feel
that's
good.
Steelers at the Browns. The line is Steelers this thing keeps screwing me up. Browns at the Steelers. The line is Steelers -6. And I'm taking the Pittsburgh Steelers, and you are taking the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, the Steelers. Yeah.
All right, great. So that is our Mr. Sports super wild card weekend prediction cast here. Andrew, you got anything else you want to tell the viewers at home?
Nothing in my empty life.
Nothing.
You're all I got. Listeners, reach out.
Listeners, listen. If you don't
You
listen
know?
to this, Andrew's going to be. It's the quarantine. We all putting some pounds on. We're all lonely. We got to support each other, and you guys got to support Andrew right now.
Yeah. Although I got a nice little day going on. I just got a Dutch oven, so I'm going to make some chicken and dumplings.
Ooh, I don't even know
know.
what that is. I don't even know what that is.
It's just like a soup. It's got chicken, but it's got dumplings
No,
in it.
no, I don't know what a Dutch oven is.
Oh. I wouldn't know either. I just got one. You probably know, but you don't know what it's called. It's just like a...
I
don't know, it's just like a
understand what
big
chicken and
fucking-
dumpling soup is. I think I can put that together, Andrew. I think I can figure. Oh, what's that? Is that chocolate?
So there's chicken. Well, you think it's like a chicken, just non-soup type thing.
Yeah.
But Dutch oven is just like a big pot. It's like a heavy...
Okay.
pot. I don't know. I barely know what it is. I just got it, and I see it's called a Dutch oven.
Between Dutch oven and the chicken and dumpling soup, which one do you think people would understand what it is more? And which one do you think would be a little? Yeah,
I guess if I didn't know, I would picture a Dutch oven being some weird like camping thing that's literally like makes its own like that is a little oven.
Why is this called a Dutch oven?
I don't know. Because famously a Dutch oven, yeah, that's what it is. It's more like, you fart and then you put.
That's what I was like. Really, you're gonna use your fart to cook?
Well, no, I'm gonna fart in that thing, and then you close it up in the top.
It's like it's like one of those. It's like the heating thing that the Amish people sell, right? That like is a miraculous heater or whatever. There's no wires and it just heats up. You know what I'm talking about?
No, what is this?
Okay, my turn here. Amish heater.
Amish, it's like people. They live kind of like it's the 1600s. They have beards and aliens come attack them.
Here.
Weird Al.
Amish space heater. It's like
Is there a secret to it?
It like looks like this. That's like the art. That's like, and it's like a miraculous space heater. I forget how it's powered.
And it literally has a fire for the listener.
No, I think it just looks like, honestly, I've never owned one, but I think it just like looks like a fire. It's like an infrared heater.
And what do they make it out of? They just prey on it, right? Or they churn butter. If you churn fast enough, that motion creates a heat and maybe even electricity.
Hold on. They're free miracle heaters.
Oh, they're free, so you can go get one. You're on the East Coast. You're kind of by Amish country, right? Like Pennsylvania.
Yeah, there's actually yeah, or Mennonite I think is near here too. But okay, I don't know. I'm not doing the digging right now, but I don't know how it's. I'm sure it has some power, but it's like a miraculous like box that doesn't have to be plugged in. That's like an Amish technique or something.
Well, listeners, tweet at us. Tell us the secrets. If you're Amish, use your secret burner phone with your Twitter on it. We know you got it. It's all good. We won't tell. We just want to know.
We know. Hey, we all got a tweet. It's 2021. We all got a tweet now.
Yeah.
All right, Andrew. I've been Zander Frost.
I'm Andrew.
And this is Mr. Sport. Andrew Lynn. This is Mr. Sports. We'll see you either this weekend or next week. Keep an eye peeled.
Yeah.
Peace.
Churn that butter.
Churn that butter.